For a world where immigrants are popular, we do not understand their situations enough, which is why I appreciate books like The Immigrants by Abdul Jaludi. So Abdul is an immigrant in America and he talks about his experiences. Hi, I'm Rovin. Welcome to Roving Through Books, and today I'll be discussing The Immigrants by Abdul Jaludi. Abdul is a young man who his family wins the lottery and then they're airborne to America. But beyond the joy and the excitement of being in America, we see that there is a way his family lives that is unique to him. And this family narrative is what I really enjoyed. I love reading the family complexities, how each child is able to navigate it. Now, Abdul is a middle child, and I know there are many conspiracies, there are many theories about middle children and how they are often the neglected bunch. And in this story, it proved through because there were so many times where he had to navigate life alone, despite the fact that he had siblings, and it was really sad. And it shows that parents have a whole role to play when raising their children. They should raise their children to be each other's best friends because I see no reason why you have siblings and you're walking to school alone or you're just alone. It rubs off on me the wrong way because I wonder how that narrative is going to be as you grow up. How I don't know, it just feels weird, especially because when a child is alone, they tend to be easily targeted by others. So when you are with your siblings, people are like, well, at least he has someone, even if he's weird or something. And I really wish that happened for him, but it didn't. So the narrative is from Abdul's perspective. So peradventure, maybe some things are a bit distorted from his view because I've realized as I grow that sometimes we see things from certain perspectives simply because that's our perspective. We can't see it from another person's perspective. And yes, sometimes it's obvious that this is wrong, but there are also still some times where it's important that you hear the other side, which is why I'm really happy I'm also a lawyer where we hear all the author and pattern where you have to hear the other side because sometimes not hearing the other side of the story doesn't always paint the full picture. And for a family as where they had so many children, like in his family, it's you will be surprised that many people did not think this way. So there's a book I'm going to review in the next section of books called Stunning Debuts. And in that book, okay, let me say the name. The name of the book is Anoas by Isibos Odira. And in the story, we learn there's this thing that I'm talking about happens where a person thinks this is the way my life is. This is my perspective on how I'm living. And then other people get to know about it and they're like, girl, be so for real. And I was like, well, our point was making sense to me when I was reading it. But then when the others were like, girl, be so for real, I was like, um, okay, this is why it's good to always hear the other side. So yes, there is also that. So there should be a balance in all of that. And the most beautiful part of this book was where he ensured that the mistakes he had witnessed as a child, he would not repeat it with his children. And I think many people are victims of this thing where they see their parents act a certain way and then they carried on and on. Which is why there was a sort of research I read somewhere a few years back where they said children who particularly male children who have witnessed their mothers being victims of physical abuse, they tend to repeat it. So it tends to be a continuous form. And there was this book I read called You Used to Love Me by Adesua Omanuwokedi, where something similar happened, where a man witnessed how his father beat his mother when he was a young boy, and he eventually became that kind of person. So when his mother was talking to him, she was like, "But you saw how much damage I felt at the hands of your father. So why are you repeating this?" So it was very beautiful reading that, oh, this man did not say, oh, because I come from this background where certain things are happening, I'm going to stick to that, even though I know it is wrong. He didn't like how he felt. He didn't want his children to feel that way when they were growing up. Another thing is, if there is one thing that I like speaking from books, is that you have so many tries at life. You can always start all over. He started over so many times. In fact, He made some foolish decisions apparently that he also admitted were foolish, but they were made because he was a young person. And it is important to note that as a young person, this is your time to make mistakes. You don't have responsibilities. You don't have a child or something that is holding you back. Once you start having responsibilities, the chances you have to make mistakes dwindles a lot, because the repercussions of your mistakes, they haunt more people, not just you. For example, if you're a man and you're the head of the family and your wife is also doing her own thing but she's getting by, but you are the breadwinner, and you decide, oh, you're going to resign at your place of job without having anything as a backup, it changes a lot. Do you understand? So it changes a lot. So when he realized he was that kind of person where he did not have responsibilities, he was able to do what he wanted to do. Another thing the immigrant taught me was that people have layers to them. I know that in my head, but I don't really did that. Do you understand? So when we see Abdul, if you see him as a worker, you're going to see him, oh, this is the kind of person that he is. You would not see him as a father, you would not see him as a husband, you would not see him as a grandfather. And he is all these things, but he is different in a way as all of these things. And it's very important that we see people as layered. People are not just one. Your colleague in the office is somebody's sister or somebody's brother or somebody's father or mother. They are someone else. They are not just your colleagues. So when you are dealing with them, you should understand that this is a person with layers. Excuse me. And by that, what I mean is when you are dealing with them as people with layers, it means that you understand that there is more to this person than what you see. And the way they act in the office, the things that they do, is tied to the other parts of the people that they are, the other parts of them. So a man is doing this, is doing that. You don't know how he was as a student in school. You don't know if this is something that he's always done or he's always loved. So that's one of the things I picked up in the book. And that's all from me for today. Bye. See you later.